everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the Mortal Realms. Yes, we are back once more with more Ogors, because Games Workshop were very kind and sent me the all-new Ogor Mawtribes Army Set, and these are absolutely spectacular. Yes, it's new Ironguts. I think they're just beautiful models. This one in particular I think is one of my favourites of all time, especially for the Ogres. Indeed, all of Grand Alliance destruction. So we're going to be painting them up today, and well, the colour we're going to be using first, after I've told you that they've been primed in Wraithbone, is Creed Camo. We're going to be applying this over the top of their trousers. So with that Creed Camo all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Cygor Brown to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the boots, gloves and pouches. And so with that all done, we're now going to use some Gore-Grunta Fur over top of the remaining leather details, like the belts and straps. And with that Gore-Grunta Fur all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Guilliman Flesh to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. We're going to apply this over the top of all the skin. So with that all done, our next port of call is to take some Wyldwood. We're going to apply this over top of, well, all the wood. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to apply this over top of, well, all of the sort of grips of the weapons and all of these tassels and things hanging off of these horns. But we're also going to apply this over top of this guy's tassely earring as well. And then next up we take a little bit of some Black Legion and we apply this over top of this ogre's hair. And then next up we're going to take 2 colours, Skeleton Horde and Wyldwood, and we're going to be applying this over the top of these large horns that are down here. We're going to start with Skeleton Horde. We're going to apply this like so over the top. just like that. We're then going to do the next bit down there and here as well, but what we're going to do once it's on is going to wash the brush, grab some Wyldwood, and just over those two bits we're going to apply the Wyldwood. Like so. And whilst we've got it open, what we're also going to do is you're going to use Skeleton Horde over the top of any bones scattered around the models. Next up, for this guy's hammer, the rock inside the hammer specifically, we're going to use some Targor Rageshade. I'm just going to apply this over the top. And whilst we wait for that Targor Rageshade to fully dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over top of all of the weapons and all of the armour. With all that silver now applied, we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of the rock hammer. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Black Templar mix. And we're going to be applying this over quite a lot of the silver armour, because we want this to be really dark, almost to the point of sort of that blackened metal. So we're not going to be applying this over the top of the kind of hip plates, the large ones that they all have. We're not going to be applying this over top of like kind of that top plate here on the champion. But otherwise, we're going to be applying this over top of the rest of it. And so with that all done for our final base coat, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Balthasar Gold, and we're going to apply this over top of any little remaining bits of metal, such as this trinket here. Now that our models are fully base coated, it's time to add some shades. So we're going to start with some Coelia Greenshade, and we're going to apply this over top of all of their trousers. With that Coelia Greenshade all applied, we're then going to take a roughly sort of 3 or 4 parts water to 1 part Berserker Bloodshade mix, and we're going to use this as kind of like a little sort of filtery type glaze over the top of all the skin. With that Berserker Bloodshade all applied, we are then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. And we're going to apply this over the top of all the red. And with that all done, we then take some Targor Rageshade. We apply this over top of all of our remaining metallics. So all of the silver that we didn't do with the Black Templar and the Balthasar Gold. So with our shades all applied, our Iron Guts are now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and they're looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave them there. No, of course not. We're going to take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be a highlight. We're going to go back to the beginning with the trousers. And we're going to start with some thinned down Straken Green. We're going to use this, as I say, to highlight the trousers. With that Straken Green all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Gorthor Brown. We're going to use this to highlight the Cygor Brown. And with that Gorthor Brown all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Flayed One Flesh, and we're going to thin this down sort of roughly 2 or 3 parts water, just make it a little bit more runny than we would normally. And we're going to be using this like a glaze over the top of all of the flesh, just to brighten it up a little bit, but also just add a little bit of structure around all of that lovely texture that's sculpted in. With that Flayed One Flesh glaze applied, what we then do is take a little bit of some Berserker Bloodshade, and just over top of the eyes and the bottom eyelid we apply this. We also apply this over the top of the nose and the bottom lips and inside the mouth. And with that Berserker Bloodshade all applied, we then take a teensy tiny little bit of Black Legion and we apply this over top of the eyeballs. And with that Black Legion all applied, we then want to take the teensiest, tiniest little dot of Screaming Skull, and we're going to apply this in the corners of the eyeballs. But what we're also going to do with the Screaming Skull is we're going to use this to highlight any bones and pick out all of their teeth. And with that all done, we are then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight this Ogor's hair. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Leadbelcher. And we're going to dry brush this over all of the blackened armour, but also over the top of the cutting edges of the blades, because we want this kind of scuffed finish. Like that, with the cutting edge. And do it again. There we go, lovely. But similarly, for all of the blackened armour, I'm just going to reload my dry brush with some Leadbelcher. What we're going to do is going to do sort of more of a sort of gentle dry brush over these bits. Give it this really heavy metal finish. And with that Leadbelcher dry brush all applied, we then take some thinned down Ironbreaker. And we use this to highlight the silver, but not like the sort of the blackened silver. So we can use this to highlight the blade, the bits that we shaded with Targor Rageshade. But for the blackened silver, what we are going to do with the Ironbreaker is going to use this to sort of basically spot highlight the blackened silver. Just in the sharpest little bits, especially concentrating on the right glove, this one. Just got to give him that red hand. But we really want it to show up afterwards. With all of that silver now highlighted, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to use this to give them their red hands. So I'm just going to apply this over the top of their right hands, like so. I'm going to bring it down to around about the elbow, like that. I'm going to wash the brush, get rid of the water. We're just going to give it a blend on that side. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And with that Flesh Tearers Red applied, we then take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. And we use this to highlight all of our other red details. But for the Flesh Tearers Red that we just applied over top of that gauntlet, we're going to add little spot highlights of this Evil Sunz Scarlet, I should say, over the top of the sharpest points in the red gauntlets. And so with that all done, we're now going to finish off the Ironguts by taking some thinned down Canoptek Alloy. And use this to highlight the Balthasar Goldy brass stuff. And there we have it. Base is all complete and our Ogor Ironguts are now finished. And they are my favourite models from the box. They might even be my favourite models from the range. We'll have to wait and see whenever the new stuff comes out. I'll have a look at that later. But these guys are so fantastic. I love them very, 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 very much. So dynamic, so cool. They've just got such a lovely presence about them, haven't they? Really enjoyed painting this one. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.